The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Aspire Counseling Services. Call 829-7300. Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. A driver under arrest after flipping his car late at night. His passenger killed at the scene. But that's not all. The wreck, the chain reaction it caused, coming up.
Tabitha Mills continues her series on PTSD and first responders. Today, how to start a difficult conversation that could end up saving a life.
And a new Dunkin opens in downtown Bakersfield. This is Friday, May 17th, 2019. Good morning. Great to have you with us. We're starting off our Friday morning with some donuts. And, of course, we've got our coffee. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, Kevin Charette.
Wait, I'm sorry. Where are the donuts?
Yeah.
You said we're
they're
starting
right
on
there.
They're right there. We have to live vicariously through the
picture.
TV.
They're
This
just
morning.
mad that there aren't any donuts.
Well, see, because Kevin and I enjoy our donuts.
Yeah.
And we enjoy our donuts, especially on Friday, right?
Well, yeah. The one thing I also enjoy is sleep, and I didn't get much last night. I had a baseball game last night. We got delayed because of what?
Oh, the rain.
The rain. So we're delayed. And,
Hey, you're the weatherman. You
trust
saw
me.
that coming.
It was kind of funny because I'm getting the field ready, and we got this downpour, and it was like, good job, Kevin. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong. I played it out. I was like, hands in the air, rain, loving it. You know, it was... They were giving me a hard time.
Do people sometimes think that you are Mother Nature and control the weather?
No, I think they just like to harass the weatherman
Like we
anytime they
do.
can.
Like you guys do.
And I have no control. So it was late night, and the rain has come to an end. Finally. But we did break a record yesterday.
Wow.
We're in May, and we broke a record. Let's take a look at that record, and it is a daily record for rain for Bakersfield. And here it is, 0.24 inches in the rain gauge. And the old daily record was 0.17, and that was set back in 1944. So, yes, we did pick up a good amount of rain yesterday. Nothing really happening now. If we see anything at all, it'll be a light sprinkle here or there. Into the mountains, maybe a light sprinkle as well. And we're going to continue to see clearing skies for us in the valley. I think the clouds are going to hang around like you see here most of the day into the mountains. 51 degrees in Bakersfield right now. We have a west-northwest wind at 7 miles per hour. As we take a look at the hour by hour here, starting out in the 50s with some clouds, and then we'll start to see the clearing throughout the day. Temperatures expected in the upper 60s. Still a little bit on the windy side in the Tehachapi area with that west-northwest wind at 18 right now. They're at 39 degrees with the cloud cover. We'll start out in the upper 30s, lower 50s this afternoon, and by 3 o'clock we'll probably be looking at partly cloudy skies and a northwest wind at 20.
5:03 now, a dangerous and deadly day on Bakersfield roads. The Highway Patrol and police are investigating a pair of crashes that left 2 people dead. The most recent happened around 11 o'clock last night on southbound 99, just south of California Avenue. Officers say a Honda Civic flipped over and the passenger, a man, died at the scene. The CHP says the crash caused a big rig to roll over.
After that, a big rig traveling southbound in the number 3 lane was unable to see the vehicle until the last second, at which time he tried to swerve around the Honda and he clipped the unoccupied vehicle. That spun him out of control, and he ended up going onto the hillside where his 2 trailers overturned.
CHP says oil and diesel spilled onto the dirt shoulder when the big rig rolled. Crews were called out to clean it up. Officers arrested the man who was driving the Honda on suspicion of felony DUI, though the cause of the crash is still under investigation. Meantime, a separate deadly crash in southwest Bakersfield killed a woman and sent a man to the hospital. We first told you about this as breaking news last night on 17 News at 5. The crash happened around 4:15 on Old River Road just north of White Lane. BPD says a car headed south hit a curb and lost a tire. That caused the car to veer off the road and hit a pole. A woman in the passenger seat died at the scene. Paramedics rushed the driver to the hospital with serious injuries. No word on how he's doing this morning.
The sheriff's office is investigating the apparent drowning of a toddler in East Bakersfield. Deputies got a call around 5 o'clock last night after a 1-year-old boy fell into a pool on Vineland Road. Firefighters and paramedics performed CPR on the boy. Paramedics then rushed him to Kern Medical, where he later died. The coroner's office will conduct an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death.
A man suspected of trying to kill several people in Delano is behind bars after being arrested in Bakersfield. Delano police say this man, Eduardo Medina, shot 2 people on Glenwood Street in Delano Tuesday. Officers tracked him and arrested him as he walked out of the Reading Cinemas at Valley Plaza Mall yesterday afternoon. They booked Medina on 2 counts of attempted murder and other gun-related charges. Police say the victims are still in the hospital in stable condition.
New information this morning about a new water project in Arvin. After more than a decade without clean drinking water, the city is getting money to permanently fix the problem. 17's Karen Waugh explains how a new project will impact those who have waited years for a solution.
It's a project that's been 13 years in the making. The Arvin Community Services District just received a $14.3 million state loan to resolve the arsenic contamination problem it's had since 2006. Now, there is a $5 million forgiveness on this loan, which means Arvin has 30 years to pay back the remaining $9 million without interest. This money will fund 3 new wells and a 1 million gallon storage tank. Arvin officials broke ground on the site of one of the new wells yesterday.
Knowing that the tap water that you will be drinking is going to be safe. There's no need for purchasing bottled water anymore.
Once this project is completed, Arvin will finally have a safe supply of drinking water after not having one for more than a decade. Currently, all 6 of the district's wells have arsenic levels above state limits. Long-term exposure to arsenic is associated with increased risk for diabetes, skin disorders, and cancer. In the interim, the city has installed filters in all the public water fountains, but still, tap water in private homes has been unsafe to drink. City officials say this project will save residents money and also have a positive environmental impact when less bottled water will need to be purchased. City officials estimate the project will take 1 year to complete, so they hope this time next year, Arvin residents will be able to safely drink water from the tap. I'm Karen Waugh, 17 News.
Hi, I'm Scott with Aspire. I want to personally thank Kern County for trusting Aspire with being a part of your family's recovery. At Aspire Counseling Services, we take this opportunity very seriously and would be honored for your continued support. Call us today.
Welcome back. We continue our in-depth look at post-traumatic stress disorder and first responders this morning.
The first step to identifying or treating the mental health condition can be the hardest, starting the conversation. 17's Tabitha Mills shares what leading experts in the field suggest when it comes to breaking the silence. Tab.
Good morning again, Maddie and Alex. It can be hard and you may not know what to say or how to react, but it's the first step to mental wellness.
Fire department, what's the address of your emergency?
As firefighters, we don't want to disappoint. We don't want to let people down.
They're labeled heroes.
If we're looked upon a certain way to the public, when we're called upon, we show up. We're there to solve your problem, make things better, and take care of you. We serve you.
Day in and day out, their mental and physical health pay the price.
We detach from our emotions and our feelings.
But they're never truly detached.
We're running calls all the time. It comes back with you. It stays with you.
Kern County Fire Department Battalion Chief Denacio Mitchell knows the reality all too well.
It's hard to come back to the station or come off that call and reintroduce back into like your human side of things, the feelings, the emotions.
It was the call that tapped into his role as a father that triggered his experience with post-traumatic stress disorder.
The child had been ran over.
A child run over by his mother accidentally.
The child that came out to say goodbye to the mom.
A child that reminded him of his own.
The kid was the same age as my kid, and the kid had the same boots that my kid had, and it took quite some time to get through it.
It left Mitchell in a vulnerable place.
The way things went down and the way I experienced stuff and just how I kind of questioned my career a little bit, like if this was something I want to continue to do. I wanted to find out more. There had to be more out there. There had to be something better.
Mitchell began going back to school to earn a degree in psychology to help firefighters struggling with mental wellness. He now leads peer groups and is available at any time for employees of the Kern County Fire Department.
Let them know they're not alone, because those first moments can be quite troublesome, and you're kind of left with you and your thoughts, and so that can be a scary place.
Mitchell worked through his PTSD. Sadly, many firefighters do not. 2017 studies reveal more firefighters died by suicide than in the line of duty. According to Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance, a leading data gathering agency on the topic, 116 firefighters died by suicide. That's based on an estimated 45% reporting rate. According to Tina Casola, a first responder trauma specialist with First Alarm Wellness,
the first line of defense is having conversation.
It won't be easy for you or for the person to whom you're talking.
we're pulling off the Band-Aid and we're going to scrub the wound out a little bit. And so sometimes to get the healing going, we have to scrub it, and that doesn't feel so comfortable.
Casola says most people will be defensive, often denying anything is wrong.
Avoidance, it's so strong. So I don't want to have some person come in and tell me about all these things because it's going to make me feel uncomfortable.
Casola recommends approaching conversations in this manner. Instead of asking, hey, are you okay? Use examples, things you've noticed. Casola gave this example. I've noticed you've not been grabbing breakfast with your crew after shift. You never miss breakfast. Are you doing okay?
Don't be afraid to have a conversation with somebody, and don't be afraid if they get a little bit upset in the beginning, because of course they're going to. They don't want to talk about it, but it plants the seed.
But the most important and hardest question to ask.
People are always afraid to ask that question. Are you thinking about killing yourself? Which is scary.
In her 20-year career, Casola says asking that question has helped in more ways than it has harmed.
People either feel relieved that you asked the question because now they can answer it, or, they're not thinking that way, which gives us some relief. And even more, again, that protective piece is maybe they're going to lie to me and tell me that they're not, but now they know that I'm approachable, that I'm open to having that discussion if they are.
Even if you're afraid asking will end your friendship, ask.
I tell people that, relationships are repairable. Death, which is the extreme, is not.
Sadly, despite your efforts, a person may still choose to die by suicide.
I don't want anybody to feel burdened with that idea that I can prevent a suicide of somebody. That's not fair to anybody as an individual. It's a complex and hard thing to deal with.
If you're afraid to have a conversation with someone because you're not sure how to respond to what they will tell you, Casola suggests this statement. I don't know what to say. I'm just really glad you told me. If you know a first responder who may need help, there is a self-diagnosis questionnaire as well as contact information for resources provided in our community for local first responders available on our website, kget.com. Maddie, Alex.
Such an important series that you've been talking about because so many first responders need those resources. So thank you, Tabs.
Absolutely. And just breaking the silence. That's the first step.
Well, Petco is offering a way to help pet parents looking to transition their furry friends away from foods containing artificial ingredients. The pet store chain is hosting a nationwide pet food trade-in event. It's happening this weekend. You can trade in any pet food with artificial ingredients in exchange for organic food. You can also take advantage of a free nutrition constellation for your pet. In 2017, the FBI says there were about 1.4 million burglaries. If you're heading off on vacation this summer, you may want to consider beefing up your home security. And money expert Stacey Johnson shows us how you can do that without shelling out too much cash.
And the first time it happens, it's very devastating because they're not prepared for it. So a lot of valuables may be missing, maybe family heirloom jewelry, things that cannot be replaced, and it's a very big shock. So preparedness is the key.
It's the time of year when people get away from it all, and crooks sometimes get away with all their stuff. Want a stress-free vacation? Then button down your house. Have your neighbor pick up your mail and newspaper. Use timers to keep the lights on, keep the lawn mowed, and hey, plan ahead. Don't leave this stuff till the last minute. If you're going to leave your key in an obvious place, well, might as well just leave your house unlocked. And if you insist on putting your key under a doormat, here's an idea. Put it under your neighbor's doormat. Also leave that trusted neighbor your emergency contact number and ask them to do a few simple things while you're gone.
Picking up your mail, maybe going inside, turning the lights on and off at different times. Maybe park their cars at your house, or if they're having a guest over, have them use your driveway so it looks like there's activity at your house.
And avoid the temptation to use social media to tell everyone on the internet where you are. You want to use your smartphone? Use it to keep an eye on your house. There are apps that let you use a webcam to see what's going on in your house when nobody's home. Well, there are some tips you can't leave home without, but I've got more. To find them, just go to moneytalksnews.com and do a search for Keeping Your Home Safe. For Money Talks News, I'm Stacey Johnson.
Money Talks is brought to you by your local consumer credit counseling service. If you've got debt problems or just want some free budget counseling, call today.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Aspire Counseling Services. Call 829-7300.